Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. I am lead prosecutor Jeremy Vilmur, and I've been up very, very late and then very, very early, so I'm in a cranky ass mood. Joining us now, Arn Anderson's favorite enhancement talent, the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Triple Crown winner, Double B Bobby Blaze.
I'm a little bit all stoved up over here, Jeremy, due to this rain we're getting, but I reckon I'm all right.
Just get some biscuits and mustard. You'll be fine.
Hey, man, look at me. It's Double B, Arn Anderson's favorite enhancement talent. And we've got a shirt to prove it.
That's
but,
right.
yeah, man, I'm doing good, actually. No complaints. No complaints. And I tell you what, my man, we're going to have a special guest on our program today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on if that's okay. I've known this guy for quite a long time. Where the hell? Who's playing the music? Cut the music. Okay. Hey. All professional wrestling fans out there, we got a very special guest. He's a good dude, man. He's from and currently resides in my hometown of L.A., Lower Ashland. He is Logan Paul King, professionally known as Casey King.
I've got all the wrong notes here.
Logan Paul King. This takes me back to when I first met you, Bobby.
Yes, there's a reason for that. I try to give you the damn Logan gimmick, man. You know, to Paul Logan, get you over, get you some millions in your account before you even started wrestling so you can lose it. But, no, I haven't told you this, Casey, but here's the truth, man. I think when I was calling you Logan, this is a compliment. You reminded me of Wolverine, Hugh Jackson. And I think that's where I got it. I said, this kid looks like Hugh Jackson. And so I associated you with Logan. That's the only thing I come up with, man. So that's a compliment to you. Yeah. I finally figured it out. I was driving down the street yesterday. I thought, man, I listened to your other interview the other day, by the way, and you can't go on a damn podcast with the tavern in the name and not have a beer, Casey.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up. I just started drinking this year, so I'll get the hang of it.
Stop. I'm getting a lot of reverb back there on my end. I hear myself speaking in the background. So if you don't, your ears are not deceiving you, wrestling fans. If you hear me say it twice, say it twice.
Bobby's coming in from the empty Sportatorium in Lower Ashland, Kentucky.
Exactly. We have an empty arena match down there pretty soon, by God.
Hey, Bobby, if a wrestler is body slammed in an empty arena, does anybody give a shit?
Oh man,
that's almost an inside joke, right?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, do you still feel the pain, or do you hear the crash on a mat, or, you're in the middle of the woods, and if you're in the middle of the woods, you're not really lost. You just either build a house or just keep on walking. You eventually come out. I don't know.
The other side eventually.
Exactly.
A wolf doesn't get you.
Or a Wolverine. Anyway, welcome aboard, Casey King. We have fun on this podcast. I know you give it a listen, and we've got to do a little bit of, all joking aside, we've got to do a little bit of house cleaning at the very beginning. Jeremy, I'll let you bring that up if you don't mind. Yeah. And we've got to just get this out of the way. So it's kind of the elephant in the room, if you would.
Yeah, it is.
Or you will.
And it's unfortunately, we have to be reminded to do this from time to time. But Bobby, we've always featured, phone numbers for helplines and things as we've gone along.
Yes.
We've done it less here recently. Unfortunately, we can't not do it this week. I'm sure everybody has heard by now, Daffney Unger, passed away last week, and, we're not going to get into the details or too much about it, but, Bobby, why don't you give everybody out the, suicide hotline number?
Yes, that number is 800-273-8255. Listen, if you're hurting or think about hurting yourself or harming yourself in any way, help is available, people. Again, Jeremy and I, we brought this up on the show several times. One of our earlier episodes, honestly, I can't remember who it happened to or what happened, but we lost a member of the wrestling community. we reached out and we gave out that number, and we did it because Jeremy and myself have been through some personal experiences, and we thought it was the right thing to do. And man, we got some really good reaction to that. Although we wasn't trying to get the reaction, we were just wanting people to be aware. And some of the fans wrote saying, "Man, these are pretty good guys, just giving it out." Well, we are pretty good guys, but we're not doing it for that. We're doing it because it's important that again, if you're thinking about harming yourself, if you're putting yourself in harm's way, if you're having bad thoughts, that number is 800-273-8255. And hey, mental health is no laughing matter. And I spoke to both of you gentlemen off the air, Casey in person, and I have my own issues and my deal, and I think everyone does to an extent. Some can control them and have good days and bad days. You just got to make the most of the good days. But sometimes if you're having that bad day, still give your best, and you won't have any regrets or any remorse if you just try to give your best each day. But again, help is available. Last time, 800-273-8255. And also, I'm going to give out my Twitter handle is at BobbyBlaze744 if someone does need to reach out. Jeremy is at the Geekish Cast, and later on we'll let Casey give out his information because he wasn't prepared to come on and talk about this at this particular moment, although he's going to start commenting and coming on to the rest of the podcast after we do our house cleaning. Yeah. So anything else on house cleaning, Jeremy, or concerning rest in peace, Daffney, man?
Yeah, rest in peace. When she first hit TV with David Flair in that group, man, I think that is what started my crush on spooky chicks. And I got you. Yeah, she was just, she was something else. She was a really special part of that era in wrestling.
Yeah. She was coming in when I was coming out or going out of WCW. Yeah. And also, but we had her on our Be My Valentine special a couple years back on the YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. And we both had a little, crush on her, a little hottie there. And we done all that really respectfully. If anyone has to go back to our YouTube channel and happen to catch Be My Valentine, where we did about 17 different ladies involved in professional wrestling, and we didn't bury them or make ourselves look like perverts, but she was on that list. Yes. That's pretty cool.
And how we didn't end up looking like perverts after that many of them is a miracle.
I know. Yeah. I know. We handled it very professionally, man. That's why we're pros. As you said, after about 50 episodes, we're fucking experts now, Bobby.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did we want to go from there? What was our next? Do we have a couple things, or is that what we want?
Well, you better just start talking about interviewing Casey King. He's a good dude, and he's working his ass off. I'll let him tell you what he's been doing this summer, what's happening with his career. But Casey, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, and I know he's busy because we talk pretty much every day of the week, usually not on Sundays. So you got me 7 days this week, Casey. But we do talk quite a bit, either via text or messaging or in person. And we actually get a workout in on Fridays, usually together, and that's always cool. But go ahead, Casey. Tell Jeremy, or Jeremy, ask him, just whatever. Have a good time. We don't have any language restrictions on here. Imagine that, Casey. With me on the podcast, we expect. But yeah, just talk how you talk.
Well, let's just go ahead and I'll just roll into my basic interrogation.
Do it. Give him a damn interview. Cut a promo, Casey.
Yeah. Hey, okay. So anyhow, Casey, give us a quick rundown. When, where, and how did you fall in love with pro wrestling?
Well, the win was about 2003. Pretty late into when WWE was real good and real hot, right at the tail end of the Attitude Era. I started tuning in and watching guys like John Cena and Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle just kill it every single night, and I fell in love immediately. Everyone was larger than life back then still, and those were my superheroes. I wasn't into comics or anything, but I was into wrestling, and those are the guys I wanted to be.
About how old were you?
I was 9 when I first started watching.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was 9 years old. I was in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and I was captivated, man. That was like the last era when wrestling really felt huge. And I think I got in right before it started kind of dying off, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. I mean, so you were fairly young at I guess you missed the Monday Night Wars then, actually, by a couple of years. So,
Yeah.
So what you caught was really the cooling off period before it died. So, over most of your life of your fandom, there's really only been one major promotion. How do you feel about how things are going now compared to how they went over most of the last 20 years?
I think it's really good for all wrestling, what's going on now with AEW and Impact and NWA and MLW. There's more places to work, and that's never a bad thing. Of course, there's always stuff in Japan going on, the New Japan, and I think the more competition, the better. It brings out everyone's A-game with the promotions and with other wrestlers trying to up everyone and up their game and get noticed.
Absolutely. Now, when did you decide you were going to get into wrestling?
It's always been what I wanted to do. I just wasn't really sure how to do it. But I was sitting in college one day, and I went to welding school, and I was welding a pipe, and I was listening to Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling, and it was an interview with Kevin Steen, or Kevin Owens now, and he was talking about how he broke in, and he was talking actually about going to the zoo on that episode, and for some reason that episode clicked, and I went into training the next weekend, and that episode just really clicked, and I thought I could do it. And I gave it a shot right after that.
All right. Who were some of your head trainers then?
When I first started out, I went to Shane Storm.
Oh, okay.
I was trained by Bobby back in the early 2000s, I believe. And after that, I after I went for the first few months, I decided I needed to finish college first, have something to fall back on.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So I went back to college, and I took about 6 months in between training. And when I first started back, there's some guy had a ring set up in his backyard, and I got hooked up with this guy named Jarrett Cage. And I said this on a couple other podcasts, but I don't think Jarrett gets enough credit around the West Virginia area for how smart he is. I don't know why that is, but shortly after that, FTC started up, and I got hooked up with Joe Pace and Bobby Blaze, and now I'm training with Jillian Hall and Bobby twice a week, and the rest is history, as they say.
Cool. Hey, Bobby.
Yes.
Tell me about Casey as far as being a student goes.
Well, yeah, he's a great student to have, man, because he doesn't just talk about wrestling, then sit at home and do nothing about it. He's going through something right now. I'll let him tell you about this injury he's got. But no, he doesn't sit around on the couch and house and talk about how he wanted to be a wrestler. I see him, like I said, we see each other quite a bit throughout the week. He comes to training when the doors open, he's there. He's doing weightlifting, I see him in the gym. I know he's got the routine he's doing right now. He does at least 3 days per week. One of those days is with me. We try to hit the gym every Friday together to do back and buys. And he hasn't Casey, I'll let you fill us in on the injury, but basically due to his injury, he hasn't been able to work, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. But that has not prevented him. He still goes to some of these shows that he had bookings on and has connections with. He's went to North Carolina. He's went to Pennsylvania. He just did a show last night in West Virginia. He went to the big show with myself up in Beckley, and he does other things with the FTC. So he doesn't just sit around going, moping around. I'm hurt right now. I can't go, can't do anything. And he goes and does whatever he can, whether it's, doing commentary. Some people's asking him to manage. He hasn't done that right now, thankfully. But again, the main thing about it as a student, he started smartening up a couple years ago, and it's not because I told him fucking who he listens to. It's because I told him who to fucking listen to, and that's me. And that's one of my rants I do, and he loves that rant when I do it on other people. But no, he started really putting his heart more into it in the last couple of years, and I've seen him develop, maturing as a man and as a wrestler, and with his body and his thinking for the wrestling business. And I think he's got tremendous opportunity because he pays attention to the detail too. Like I said, man, he's getting gym time in, he's getting reps in, and he's still going to training. He's been to at least 2 seminars I know of this summer that, he's participated, not actually physically participating, but been there to learn and ask questions and watch, so good student, man. Now don't blow it for me, Casey. Put you over. So,
my very best.
Casey, let's talk a little bit about your in-ring style. Who are some of your influences, and how have they influenced your actual performance?
So my biggest influence, and I said this on Twitter the other day, is the Three Stooges. Really.
Okay.
As far as wrestling goes, Colt Cabana is he's my Hulk Hogan. Really, he's the reason I wanted to start wrestling, and ever since I started, he's been someone I always go back to learn and watch. And he's more than just a comedy guy, and I am trying to show everyone that I'm more than that too. Because for the first couple of years, that's all I was. I'd go out there and get some laughs, and I was entertaining, and people liked me. But now I want to work, and he strikes a good balance of working and comedy in my mind. He's the best at it. And Tracy Smothers was fantastic at it too, the best comedy wrestler of all time, but Colt Cabana is really good as well. And so Colt Cabana is my biggest influence, but I draw a lot of inspiration from people outside of wrestling too, like the Three Stooges and a lot of sitcom stuff. Okay,
this is kind of interesting to me. How would that translate to, and I'm going to use a video game term here, but I'm assuming you're going to follow what I'm thinking. How does having an influence like the Three Stooges translate to your move sets or your move, your styles or whatever moves you choose to use in the ring?
So, I don't think I could go in there and do straight up slapstick like they do, but my offense for the last couple of years has been very like cat and mouse, ducking and evading and making the heel look kind of foolish, kind of like the Three Stooges do to each other. I do as much Three Stooges as I think is believable in wrestling. I'm not going out there and doing the, hit the fist and wind it up and hit them in the top of the head or anything like that. But I'm doing the ducking and evading and making the heel look foolish as much as I can, just like the Three Stooges did to each other. Because I grew up on the Three Stooges, thanks to my dad and my grandpa and all them. So that was something that my two loves, Three Stooges and wrestling. So I try to combine the two as much as possible.
That's pretty cool. I've never, that is an answer I've never gotten, Bobby.
Yeah. Hey, Casey, tell us real quickly, because I alluded to it there. Tell everyone, let them know what the injury is and how you're recovering from that, please.
Yeah, so about 5 months ago, I tore my ACL in my right knee, and as well as my LCL and my meniscus. And for the first little while there, it was hard because, as Bobby, you told me, I was just hurrying up to wait before surgery, and I couldn't do anything. Everything was just a steady line of not being able to do anything. After surgery, it's a little bit better since every day I get better. I can do more every single day. And right now, I'm going to physical therapy 3 times a week. I'm doing weight training 3 times a week. I go to wrestling training twice a week. I'm doing my yoga as much as I can. I'm still trying to get out to at least 1 show a week and help and network and do everything I can so when I do come back, I can hit the ground running and I don't miss anything. I'm trying not to miss a step when I come back. And I don't know how long I'm going to be out, but if in 6 months I'm not ready, I'm okay waiting 3 more because I want to make sure I'm good. I don't want this to be an issue again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's I've had surgery 3 months ago. Wednesday made 3 months, so I'm doing really well, I think. And my surgeon was very happy with when I did the follow-up. And it could be sooner than 6 months from now, but I'm going to take my time, and I'm not going to rush anything because the last thing I want to do is go through it again.
I was going to say, look around at some of the older wrestlers who absolutely rushed to every recovery they had. Maybe take your time. I got an oddball question for you, Casey. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Who is your favorite wrestler working in the Indies, and why is it Jock Sampson?
Okay. Well, it is not Jock Sampson. Jock Sampson isn't my favorite anything. My favorite wrestler working on the Indies, well, just to kind of stick it to Jock Sampson, I'm going to say Cole Carter right now because Jock has his hands full with him right now. So Cole Carter's my answer.
Now, didn't you drop a title? Am I thinking of the right guy here? Did you drop a title to Jock, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, I've dropped a couple titles to Jock.
Yeah, but like in the last 2 years, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I've actually wrestled Jock for three different titles in the last 2 years, and he's beaten me pretty much every single time except the most recent when I beat him for the FTC Championship after I tore my ACL. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no,
And that title is now vacated. Is that correct?
Yes,
I am vacated.
Oh, our old pal vacated.
Okay, so Casey had to vacate it back in July, and so our old friend there, I am vacated. We have a show fan of the show. I am vacated, Casey. Just so you know. So the FTC title, from my understanding, they're going to hold a tournament sometime to vacate that title, or to for a chance to win that title that is now vacated. I'm sorry. Oh. Hell, you might be healed well enough to wrestle for it again.
By the way it's going, I think I might be.
Yeah, we lost our building for at least a little while. Do some renovations and negotiations and this and that. But FTC will be back. We're working on some things. We're going strong with the camp. But yeah, the way things are going for bookings for that organization right now, Casey, you might be eligible to get back in the tournament.
We'll just
by the time we get our building back.
I'll just come back out with the belt and the
there you go.
Yeah, just it never happened. It's cool.
Now we've got a good show, man. We really do a really good, cast of characters. We'll probably just tell you, Casey, if you got anything to say about Jock, we're probably going to have Jock on the show in the near future too. We'll just have to see what his schedule's like. And I'm sure he's going to say a lot of stuff about you. He'll say something nice about me, but he'll say, fuck you, Casey, or something, probably knowing Jock. Yeah.
Oh, and so then I do have to ask, as far as like wrestling Jock, what's it like to wrestle a guy who wears clown shoes?
It's wrestling Jock is the most it's the easiest difficult thing I've ever done. He's been a thorn in my side for the last 2 years, and I think after this last time when I beat him, I think that's finally behind me, hopefully. I still talk to his wife, Linda, all the time, because we're best friends.
Damn!
But I think the Jock incidents are behind me, hopefully. We can move on.
And you're speaking to his wife, and I'm going to tell you, hey, Casey, or Jeremy, I'm going to tell you, Casey don't have anything back when it comes to the women. He is, he's a slayer, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah?
He's a good-looking young man. He's in shape. What the hell you think, man? And he's choosing from 3 states. He's got, right here in this area. That's not letting on why he's traveling in North Carolina and Pennsylvania and Atlanta and places like that. Because, this guy's got a network going on here, man. He's not just networking pro wrestling.
I thought chicks were into money, so I've been doing this wrong for years now. Guys, I'm gonna
the illusion with money was a couple credit cards.
We're gonna take a little break from talking about Casey's career because I do want to talk about NWA 73 and Empower were last weekend.
Yes.
And I only watched one of them, and I wasn't even sure I was going to do that. Bobby, I don't think you've seen any of that yet, but I'm sure you've heard.
I watched quite a bit. Everything that was available, everything that was uploaded to YouTube that was free, I watched. I watched the first couple hours of the women's event on Saturday, an hour of the men's event on Sunday. And then I went back and, saw a lot of the interviews and stuff post matches. But I've only seen about 3 of the matches total. So, I'm going to leave it up to you 2 experts to, fill us in on the card. And if I have something to add, I will. But more likely, just what I saw was just a smidget of what you guys saw watching the entire program.
All right. So Casey, let's kind of dig in here. Now, I didn't see any of the opening matches, so I started with the Tim Storm, Latimer, and Crimson match.
Now, I did see that one.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you... Okay, so I'm going to have some positives and negatives to say about this. I have always had a bone of contention with this Crimson character, because didn't he basically just steal Amazing Red's character 10 years ago? Or am I remembering that wrong? But
Amazing Red, he was one of the original pioneers of like the indie style we see today, like the super flippy, 100 miles an hour guys.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by him when I was first started watching TNA back in the early 2000s. Crimson does kind of look like a like Amazing Red ate a mushroom from Mario Brothers.
Yes.
But yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So this match had some big bad bruiser types. It did start off with a Schmaltz and was it just Tom Latimer and Tim Storm starting it off basically because Jack Stain came out and whipped the shit out of Crimson.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tim Storm. I do see that he is slowing down a little bit now, but that's okay because they got him. He's mostly doing, play-by-play or color. What did you think of that match?
I thought it was a very fun way to start the show. I'm a big fan of Tim Storm as well, and Tom Latimer. I think he is a star. I know he's had his problems in the past, and he's battled his demons, but he seems like he is clear and clean, and everything's on the up and up for him. And I think that guy is just incredibly talented. And Tim Storm, of course, former world champion. So those guys, it was crazy that they did a bump off a 20-foot ladder through a metal barricade, and that was in the opening match. That was crazy. But it was a fun way to start the show, I thought. Yeah, no, it was a bit of an ass kicker to start the show with. It was a bit of a mess too, but yeah, they did some big things. And I guess for the people who were there, because they had the couple matches ahead of it, it really wasn't the opening of the show, so they had a little time to warm up. I thought it was an okay match. I thought it could have probably been cleaned up a little bit or shortened maybe a little bit. But, yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
That was my take on that. Go ahead, Casey.
I thought it was weird that it was going to start the show when it came on. That was my last pick to start the show with, was that match. But they did, and I thought they started hot, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, they did hit the ground running and just kind of hit the throttle continuously throughout the show, really. They did not really back down. It was cool that it was at the Chase. Anybody got an opinion about that before we move on?
Well, I'm glad he did it at the Chase, the entire show.
Yeah.
That I thought that was a great way to a place to do an NWA event, and for the 73, I thought that was all perfect. From the lead in out. No, the only thing I want to say about that match was, excuse me, they took some big ass bumps on those rails and ladders and stuff, and so to me it could have been like I was going to just say what Jeremy basically said. It could have been cleaned up just a little bit, and I thought it was a little bit long, but it was a damn way to start the show off the ground and running, like you said. Good way to start the show.
Yeah. So we go from that match into Mickie James versus Kylie Rae. Now, it's no secret Mickie James is obviously married to Nick Aldis, and I would watch her read a phone book. So, I'm okay having her in a match. Kylie Rae, I've never seen Kylie Rae really before. She is funny and cute and talented, so it made this match real easy to watch because they both knew what they were doing.
Yep.
And, I have to say I give that one a thumbs up. How about you guys?
For sure, thumbs up. I mean, just say one thing. I thought that finish was really good. And I thought it was just, the heel was relentless. I liked that. I liked her being relentless. Stayed on her. And I liked that. I'd give it a thumbs up. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I thought this was the best match of the night until the main event. I thought they both worked really hard, and I would have liked to see him get a little bit more time and shorten some of the other matches, because it kind of, it was really good, but I thought they could have gone 5 more minutes. That's how much I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a fantastic match, and Deonna Purrazzo coming in after the match I think she's the best women's wrestler on the planet right now. So I'm excited to see her and Mickie James whenever they finally go at it. But I thought this was a fantastic match.
Yeah. Now, Bobby, you've heard my theory before that there's an intern that has to hang out backstage at wrestling shows and cue music just in case somebody heads to the ring and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think they need an intern to hang out backstage just in case somebody dressed as a ninja shows up now, too. Just because, somebody should be looking around like, hey, there's a suspicious ninja in the women's dressing room. Everybody just be aware of that,
Yeah, but see, it's hard to detect a ninja. That's part of their gimmick, man.
That's true, yeah.
So, I mean, she could have been standing in the doorwell, spread out, above everyone.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever thinks to look up,
Hanging off the ceiling and nobody ever looks up. There you go. So, yeah.
That's it.
All right. From that one, we went on to a match that I was kind of meh about. Tyrus, the Masked Man, and Jordan Clearwater with Austin Idol against DePope and The End. Everybody in this match was good. Tyrus, they're booking him like a monster, and it works for him. I think the 6-man tag belt gimmick is kind of hokey and stupid. And Jordan Clearwater, I guess, is out from where you guys are, but he often wrestles in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So I was familiar with him. I know our friend, Will Harding knows him pretty well. So
yeah. And just some motivation for Casey, and you may not be aware of this, Jeremy, but Casey, if you want to tell us, before the COVID hit, before you tore your knee up, you might be doing something for out there in Hollywood, might you?
That was the plan. That
was the plan.
My good friend Jervis Cottonbelly, and I was supposed to have some work coming up for Championship Wrestling for Hollywood, and about 2 hours later, I tore my ACL. So it wasn't meant to be at the moment, but hopefully that door's still open in the future.
I think it is, my man. I think it is. That's just an inside that I knew to throw out there for you, Jeremy.
Oh, no, that's cool. Because I go back and forth to that show. I watch it real intensely for like 6 to 8 weeks at a time, and then I stop for a while, and then I pick it up again.
Gotcha. Hopefully Casey gets out your way, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're up there a little bit more north, but, he'll be out there. He's going to be back out there. He's got some work coming up.
Yeah. Bobby, are you familiar with Jervis Cottonbelly?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I just know who he is. I haven't met him or anything. At the time, I was going to do FTC about every other show because I was alternating between the ASW shows in West Virginia. I just try to do one or the other, time due to, I'll just tell you, mental health issues to kind of, we started the show off with. I was very limited to where I was going to and hanging out with, etc. But the day that he come in, I was not at that FTC show.
He is an interesting...
That's how you met him, right, Casey?
Yeah, I got to work him at FTC. And,
that's what I thought.
We've been good friends ever since.
Yeah. He is an interesting character. I will definitely say that. I remember when I first saw him, I was like, he sounds like C-3PO. And then the next time I saw him, he was with 2 guys who were doing a Jedi gimmick, and he was acting like C-3PO. Ever since then, he stood out in my memory. And anybody who rocks his opponents to sleep as a finisher, I got to give him points, What did you think of this match, guys? Bobby, did you see this one? And Casey, what did you think of it?
So
I didn't see it. So those the last 2 matches may have been the only 2 I've seen. To be honest with you, that I'm recalling.
Okay.
This was a down point for me on the show. I like most of these guys in the match. I'm not a fan of Tyrus, but just for his stuff out of the ring. But, it was what it was. It was a 6-man tag. Jordan Clearwater is a stud. He was trained at the same place Jillian Hall was trained at, up in Cincinnati. So, I've met him a few times, and he's a nice guy, and I love the Pope. I think he is full of charisma, and I think he's one of the best things going today. But it was just, there was something about it that just didn't click. It was very slow, every time Tyrus got in the ring, it slowed it down even more. So, yeah, I was not a fan of this match.
No, and that's, somebody that size who you're going to book like that slow, that plotting, you kind of just pick your spots with that, DePope, he is near Dusty Rhodes or Superstar Billy Graham levels of charisma. Not quite there, but he's pretty damn close, I think.
He's incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, this match really didn't do much for me. And, well, we'll go on to the national title match, which was next. Chris Adonis versus James Storm. These guys are okay in my book, right? I mean, James Storm, I got a little bit of a bone of contention with. The Tennessee Cowboy, there's no fucking cowboys in Tennessee. Jesus Christ, I'm more cowboy than any of those assholes, and I haven't touched a horse in 30 years. But it was a good match. Two tough-looking guys beating the hell out of each other. I did start to notice that titles were not changing hands by this point, and my opinion of what I thought I was going to see later in the night started to change. What was your impression of this match, Casey?
I thought this was just a very good old-school match. They just worked. They put their working shoes on, and they worked for about 15 minutes, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I like both these guys. I like Chris Adonis a lot. James Storm, I've met several times, and he's always been a real nice guy, and he's, of course, he can work. And I thought they went on and put out a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
Probably the best wrestling match on the show, really.
You know what? I could probably give you that. Now, that Chris Adonis, I did find offensive. You never touch another man's beer. That is not okay. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match. But it was just, well, you know what, guys, refresh my memory. Where did Chris Adonis come from? I know I've seen him before.
He was Chris Masters in New York.
That was it. Okay. He was the full Nelson guy. All right.
Yep.
That's what it was. Okay. Yep. That's what it was. Casey,
go ahead. I was going to say the funniest thing I remember about that was, he had that big body, and apparently at first, I guess, he wasn't trying to learn to work too much, just working off his body. But then they had the wellness program kicked in, I guess, more so, and they started testing. And this is just from memory, cold memory here, just something that I found funny. So he dropped quite a bit of weight. I'd say a good 50 pounds, but he was still shredded. Yeah. And but he also has started to learn to work, which I respect that. But I remember they did a deal where it was DX, it was Triple H and Shawn, and they apparently in a changing room area. And they just started making ribs about a guy that apparently had just been off the juice, and they was just burying a guy about losing 50 pounds. It was all inside stuff, Yeah. When you see a guy get off the gas, and of course Christopher Masters walks through, and that's like he was any other star or whatever. He still looked ripped and stuff, but you could tell he just had dropped weight, and it was just one of those things that DX did, as being the heel pricks they were, it was just a little segment I thought was pretty funny at that time, for whatever reason. But yeah, that's where he's from. And he's got a hell of a physique, though. Hell of a physique.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude's built like one of those like Greek gods. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
No shitting around about that.
Yeah.
What are your guys?
I can see them guys putting their work in.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good that he did. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. What are your impressions of that national title? Just the look of the belt. Either one of you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Casey.
It's very archaic, and I love it. It's so different than anything else that's around right now, and that's why I think I like it so much. But yeah, it's one of my favorite title designs right now.
Bobby, you got an impression on that one?
I'll let you give yours first.
If we redid our ugly belt episode, it would be on there.
Oh man. Hell, I don't know. We might have to revisit that again, it sounds like.
We may have to. We may have to.
So Casey likes it, and I'm in between, and you're burying it. So
we're that just makes us even Steven then.
And I went to Waffle House today, and I turned around and left, by the way, because that was our title belt. Remember, the 24/7 was the Waffle House title.
Yep.
I did get the Waffle House one day this week, but I went today and it was fucking packed, and I said, I'm not going in there, man. And I didn't get that. So maybe one day after training, Casey, that's what we'll do.
Hey, did you know if you snatch the clock off the wall, you are the 24/7 champion?
I can believe that, but you got to get it before that fucking convict doing the cooking back there kicks your ass.
That's the whole trick, yeah.
Or the waitress that she stuffs out her cigarette hits you in the back to have an ashtray. I mean, you got to overcome a lot to get that title.
Yeah.
And that's not counting the couple at the door that's still fucking fighting, and the fact that the floor's thick as fuck. So you got to overcome some obstacles to get that title.
Can't run away, so yeah.
No, you're sliding. You're doing a Three Stooges run right there, Casey. Your feet are etchy-catchy, man, at best, trying to get out of that place.
Healthy to try it.
Yeah. So, anyway, me and Casey went and had the Lord's chicken the other day, though, didn't we, Casey?
That's right. Some good old Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. That's what my brother calls it, the Lord's chicken.
Oh, boy. We just started getting those around here.
With some lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink.
Nice Eddie Murphy reference.
Yes. Oh, it's bad, wasn't it, Casey? That's not the best. The best one was my granddaughter doing it. Yep. Casey saw the video of that. She pulled out I had her doing it in the old Eddie Murphy way. So, that was cute.
Yeah. We just started getting those Chick-fil-A's out here, and it's very much breaking down along political lines. I'm sick to death of everything being done on those terms,
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Okay, guys. I got an admission to make here. I realize I am from the old San Francisco territory. I hate battle royals. I hate them. It breaks down to the point where there's like 4 guys wrestling and 18 other people giving out forearms. It's just, I don't like battle royals. And so at this point in the night, we go to a battle royal with a new NWA stipulation I've never heard, that if your foot touches the outside ground in any way, you're out. 1 foot touching the ground, not over the top rope or anything, just you're out. Which
no over the top rope DQ?
No, it was like if you baseball slid out and your foot touched the ground, you're out.
Yeah, I got you.
Which is not a rule I've ever heard, but apparently that's the NWA Battle Royal rules.
Well, see, I think Battle Royals are I think a Battle Royal, you could have different rules for different Battle Royals.
Sure.
So,
absolutely you can.
If that's the way they wanted to do it, so that's the way they chose to do it. Huh?
Oh, yeah. And, I'm cool with if they're like, hey, this is the NWA Battle Royal, at least they're doing something to differentiate their Battle Royal from everybody else.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm cool with that. It's just a rule I'd never heard. Roy Shire's big thing was the yearly Battle Royal. And that was one of those ones. It was either Andre, Dusty, Pat Patterson, or Ray Stevens. That was the kind of thing it was. I hate them.
I'm just curious. Cause I remember the Andres and stuff. They always put that in the magazines, by the way. The yearly one. So my question is, real quickly, history here. Probably Mil Mascaras, or did they ever put any over the Hispanic wrestlers for that?
Oh, well, you know what? I would have to go back and look because I'm not sure.
Seems like one year Mil Mascaras won a big one. That's the only reason I asked, because I don't know if that was the one he won. But my mind's going to like somewhere he won a big battle royal, and it was on the cover of the magazine or whatever. Because I remember the ones Andre won, and not all of them, of course, but I remember that was a big deal,
because what Roy Shire would do is push it as, like, a lot of wrestlers won't do this because it can end careers, and it was they would push the
build up.
Yeah, it was just like, this is like the most dangerous match in pro wrestling.
Right.
And even given that, I still look at it and I'm just like, this is the boringest match in pro wrestling besides maybe the scaffold match.
Well, it's a waste of creative time, really, if it's not done right. Yeah. Honestly, it's just poor booking.
If it doesn't have a story, I get it. I get it for, like, if you got an 8-man crew And
Yeah.
Yeah, you have your individual matches, and you end the night with the battle royal. Okay, I get it. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do there.
Right.
Casey, what do you think of battle royals?
I hate them as well.
Okay.
There's very few I've seen that have been done well. And I've heard of the old NWA rule before, but it's usually on shows with no one's trained and they can't get over the top rope.
Got it. Okay. No, that makes sense.
Somehow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're too uncoordinated to go over the top, so they just slide onto the bottom.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I will say there were some guys in here who were impressive. Some guys I was like, oh shit, okay, I got to make notes of their names and keep tabs on them. You know, JTG, a handful of others that had just like stood out in the match. Of course, I love Sal Rinauro and anything he does.
He's great.
Yeah. The Judeas character who came out with Father James Mitchell, he looked like Bull Shannon from Night Court to me. I mean, I guess maybe we'll see what he does in the future.
They tried to make him out as a big deal, but no one knew who he was.
That was the thing, you know.
Who was the first two you mentioned?
JTG and Sal Rinauro.
Yeah. Now, Casey, didn't you do something with him recently?
With Sal, I was on a show with him down in Bristol.
That's why I thought, okay, because you said something. I don't think you told me personally. I think you posted something about how talented he was.
Yeah, he's my new favorite wrestler.
Okay.
He's just, dude, he can work, man. And he was on Wrestling Road Diaries Volume 1 with Colt Cabana and Daniel Bryan, and that was like my Bible when I first started training. I just watched that constantly. So he's always been like one of my favorites. But
I knew you said something or made mention of it here recently. I just double checking. Okay. Who else you got there, Jeremy, that you had written down?
Oh, Bobby, of course, I've lost my notes since then. I'm trying to pick my brain to remember here. I was more impressed that Father James Mitchell was there because I've always found
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. And for some reason, Joe Galley kept pointing out that he used to be the Sinister Minister. So I'm guessing somebody owns that as a trademark. But, Father James Mitchell, by any other name, is still a Sinister Minister. I don't care who you are. Yeah.
I don't know but it wouldn't be ECW. I wonder if WWE has that or something when they bought ECW, the Sinister Minister deal.
Well, I think
Impact.
I was going to say, I think maybe it was Impact because.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But I like the Father James Mitchell deal, so hell, that's, you know who it is, So
yeah, no, I'm cool with him, and I discovered a while back that he does his eyebrows the way he does, so he'll look like Prince Namor from Marvel Comics.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a big old school like 1960s era Marvel Comics fan.
Yeah, they brought out this Judeas guy and as like a big monster, but he had the nicest fade haircut I've ever seen.
Right? Yeah, you figure a real surly fucker ain't gonna sit that still in a barber chair very long, right?
So that was another down point for me, was this match. It went about 20-25 minutes too.
For the Battle Royal?
I am showing it at 20 minutes and 8 seconds, but it felt like 45.
Yeah, they should have given that time to Mickie James and Kylie Ray, I think.
I could have watched more of that, absolutely. Well, let's get into the women's title match here. Camille versus Chelsea Green. First off, I want to say, when I first saw Chelsea Green, I was like, oh, they got Britt Baker. Wait. No, but if anything ever happens to Britt Baker, we have a replacement. They are very similar looking women.
They really are.
They really, really are. Camille, her working has improved. Her wrestling is much better than when I think I first saw her come out as the insurance policy in ROH. Yeah.
That's good to hear. She wasn't doing a lot when she first came out there, but it showed her training each week. Not each week, but there were segments where it showed her doing some different things.
Yeah.
I figured she would probably get better if she put some effort into it. Because at the beginning there, I don't think she was putting. I'm not saying she wasn't working hard, because you look at her body, you could tell she's a hard worker. Yep. I don't know how much time she was getting in the ring, though. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
No,
because I did see some footage of her in the ring training. It could have been something off my Twitter Twitter feed or something like that. But that's good to know. So when you're working out hard to get your body going, and you're in a storyline, and remember, she didn't have to talk; she just had to use her face, and that was enough to get her over the whole gimmick. That was the whole idea. But good that she's improved her ring work, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Now my dream match going forward from here is her versus Jade Cargill.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that Jade Cargill, Bob.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
yes.
That is a woman who is just made of granite. Holy shit. I don't know if I've ever seen a body like that before. But Camille, Camille is muscular as hell. Looks like she could probably slap the taste right out of your damn mouth. What are your impressions of Camille in this match there, Casey?
Camille was an attraction, man. Just like Jade Cargill, they come on, they demand your attention. This match was what it was. I'm a big fan of Chelsea Green. I think she can do no wrong, and every company she goes to, they put her in the main event immediately. So it's a testament to how good she is and how talented she is. There was a sloppy spot where they were exchanging forearms, and they were both just punching the air, very obviously. But I thought that was the only down part of the match, and I thought they worked out well. I didn't think it was quite as good as the Mickie James and Kylie Ray match, but I thought it was as good as a Camille match could have been.
Well, I will give you that. Yeah, they're definitely having to meet her at least halfway in her title defenses still. But I mean, if you give her good opponents, they can carry the match. I do want to talk a little bit about this tag match between La Rebellion and Aaron Stevens and J.R. Kratos. First off, they were doing bits with Stevens and Kratos where they were pretending to be from 1948 and then 1968. And they were doing bits that were filmed to look like they were old, and some of those were pretty funny, especially when they were trying to remember the name of that skinny kid with the afro. Oh, Harley Race. He'd be pretty good if he did a gymnasium kind of thing. I thought that was some funny stuff. I was probably drawn more into this tag team match than I have been since the 1980s. They cut the ring in half. They beat the living piss out of Stevens. I felt more tension in this match than I have, and I don't have a dog in this fight at all. I didn't care who won. I was just enthralled by the storytelling that they did in this one. What are your opinions there, Casey?
Yeah, this was actually my most anticipated match going into the show. I love Aaron Stevens, Mecha Wolf. I've been on a few shows with him, and I'm really a fan of his work. I wasn't a fan of Kratos until this match, and I thought he did a really, really good job here. But yeah, I thought it delivered. I didn't think it ended up being the best match of the night, but it lived up to my expectations, and it was a really, really good, solid tag team match. Like you said, they cut the ring off, and it was just an old school match with new elements sprinkled in by La Rebellion.
Yeah, I was actually like kind of taken with just what an effective match it was, because again, I didn't give a shit about it, and then it started. And, I'm going to say I hate Aaron Stevens. I actually just mean that he's good at his shitty character that you want to slap, But I'm like, oh, come on, dude, get the tag, get out of there. Oh, they're killing him, man. And, when your emotions get ahead of you, they've done their job, And that's going to bring us to our main event of the night. Speaking of your emotions getting to you, I had just seen where they had replaced the Australia plate on the Dome Globe belt with a British flag for the UK, of course, where Nick Aldis is from.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, there's no way they did that and that they're going to take the belt off of him. But I had been kind of watching all the heels have held on to the titles tonight. And then Trevor Murdoch comes out wearing Harley Race's jacket. And I'm like, shit, they're going to do it. I have been a big Trevor Murdoch fan since I first saw him in the NWA. I didn't watch the WWE when he was there.
Yeah. You put, I had seen him way back when, but we started back, Casey, we were watching NWA there weekly, before COVID. But yeah, you have been on his, you've been on his bandwagon since day one. You're not a bandwagon jumper. I'll say that. You used to hit him up on Twitter and how can we get him on our podcast, Bobby? And so I know that's sincere.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I saw that Harley race jacket, I was just like, I think they're going to actually flip this.
Yeah.
This match, I think the only term for it is pitched. Because it is kind of just, it's a one-sided ass beating from one side or the other the entire time. It started off in the crowd, and then it was up on the stage, and then Billy Corgan comes out, and he's ready to punch Nick Aldis in the face. And I think he even says at one point, back in the ring, or I'm stripping you of the title, or some kind of threat,
Yeah.
So they get out in the ring, and after 8 minutes of fighting, they finally ring the bell, and Casey, what are your thoughts on this match from that night?
I thought it was incredible. Like you said, he jumped him from the get-go, and he was beating his ass in front of his family, and it just really made you want to see Trevor Murdoch overcome it. And when he came out with the Harley race jacket, I thought maybe they were going to put it on him, but it's Nick Aldis, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, exactly.
1,044 days as champion for a reason. And I'm really glad they pulled the trigger. And I thought it was an incredible match of the night for sure. And I've watched it twice already since it happened. So I was a huge fan of this match.
Yeah, I thought this was amazing. Bobby, all I could say is it was just back and forth the entire time. One guy was out in front, and then the other guy was out in front.
Well, I'll definitely have to check it out. I did watch the interviews, the post-match interviews, and I enjoyed those a lot. And then I saw something come up last night, because I did go back, try to find it, and there was about a 4-minute interview that Trevor Murdoch did, and it was after the match, obviously after he had showered and everything. It was really good. I mean, it just had so much meaning behind it, and he talked about how hard they actually worked, for the match. And so y'all have to go back and check it out, man. That's my bad. So if you wait for my review of it, I'm sure it was great. Casey said incredible, but I did not see it.
I think they used every recognizable finisher from an NWA champion in this match that you could think of. But Bobby, what was funny is Trevor Murdoch gets him in the figure 4 at one point, right?
Okay.
And the one of the color and play-by-play guys, I can't remember who it was that said it, but how many matches did Ric Flair win with this hold? And then Velvet Sky goes, all of them. And I'm thinking, we've talked about this.
Yeah, not quite.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Not quite.
Yeah, that was a spot, not a finish.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything else we got to talk about? I obviously I didn't watch it, so I didn't want to spoil the, say, oh yeah, and put it over if I didn't see it. But I know it was over. I saw the Flair interviews. I thought that was pretty cool. Casey, I'm glad you came on to help us with this week on dissecting that and reviewing that NWA show. Like I said, we just keep us posted on what's going on in your career. I always try to give you a shout out on here when I can if we've done something that week or whatever. Keep up your training, man. You're doing good. Get that knee rehabbed. I know we got some plans, just some little things you and I spoke about, that you got some goals that you're trying to achieve. And the thing about it is, Casey, when you asked earlier about being a student, teacher, coach, what have you, Casey does have a plan, man. He's been working to achieve some plans. This knee injury is just a setback for a comeback, because he's going to keep on going forward with his goals. Try to keep his ass off the basketball courts, that's for sure, and away from Jock Sampson for right now. But also, I wanted to throw this out there, Casey. I'm throwing it to Jeremy, too. And I'm throwing it to, more importantly, because these two already know about it, I'm just feeding something here. I'm putting this out there to all of our wrestling fans. Save your money, folks. We've got something big coming to Ashland, Kentucky, believe it or not. And it's not the Thanksgiving Christmas parade, Casey, just so you know. That's in November. Okay? That's the first Tuesday, what is that, before Thanksgiving, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, that's when we have our Christmas parade. Well, this is coming in November also, folks. Thus the reference. November 6th, man, Bluegrass Wrestling Con at the Highlands Museum in beautiful downtown Ashland, Kentucky. Let me throw that in there. It's pretty down there, isn't it, Casey?
It can be.
They're making improvements, bless their heart, yes. But anyway, they've been making improvements, man, and that one block up from where they've been making those improvements down at the plaza there, which, by the way, by God, I'm still waiting. We got Chuck Woolery this, we got the Judge this, the Judge Plaza, all that. You know what? When are they going to put Bobby Blaze Boulevard in? I'm still a little stewed about that. When they get Bobby, they'll fucking have a Casey King Highway before they fucking have a Bobby Blaze Boulevard down here. Mark my words. But anyway, enough about that. Bluegrass Wrestling Con is coming November 6th to the Kentucky Highlands Museum. We may be doing a podcast from there. That is the goal. I think Casey King will be there. But we have Billy Gunn coming in. Trying to think who else. Coco Beware. Lex Luger's coming in. Those are the ones confirmed. I've spoken to a couple other people. What's that?
The Godfather as well.
Oh, yeah, the Godfather. I knew I had one more picture. That must have been deleted off my phone. I knew I had one more. I spoke to someone. Casey, you were there the other day when I took the call. I'm not sure how that negotiation turned out because I took it to the boss. I said, here's who you call because I made that connection, and I've made another connection. So I won't let them names out right now because I don't know what the outcome was during the negotiations. But I know also, I think talks are with Jillian's going to be there as far as I know, Jillian Hall, and I think Victoria possibly. I'm not sure about that one either. I don't think she's confirmed yet. Anyway, it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to be a big fan fest, man. And I'm hoping we do our podcast from there. I really do. Hopefully we get some people, and I hope we get lots and lots of people. And that's being brought on, I guess FTC and the Time Warp and Bluegrass Wrestling at Bluegrass WrestleCon. Casey, you know anything more about that I'm leaving off of that by chance?
No, I know they have about 25 vendors already signed up to get tables, and
awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be more wrestlers there that
But a Bell to Bell Bobby Blaze podcast has a table. I think we're going to need 2, and we're going to need a couple laptops. I've got one of them, but I'll be there selling my gimmicks. Jeremy, where can they get one of our gimmicks at? We got a damn website, right?
Oh, yeah, go to bell2bellblaze.com. And
go to the store.
There's a store section there where you can see the T-shirts. Daddy Said Sell, Arn's Favorite Enhancement Talent, Pin Me, Pay Me.
Excuse me. Yeah. Who has a Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt, by God?
Hey, who's got a Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt?
Casey King has a Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt.
Hey.
Wore it to the gym the other day, and it looks sharp. That's my next T-shirt. I'll be buying mine, if not today, tomorrow. Yes, sir. Look, thank you, Casey, for sporting that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And my Bobby the Kingslayer Blaze shirt can be found there. I wore mine the other day. It's a nice looking shirt. You can also get that at tinyurl.com/Blaze shirts. So you can get that one there. And while I'm on the tinyurls, Jeremy, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to pull the trigger. Here we go for some book sales.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. If you go to tinyurl.com/Blaze Book 1, that'll take you to Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boost Will Travel. If you go to tinyurl.com/Blaze Book 2, that will take you to I Kicked Out on 2, The Educational Wrestler. Yes, I've got a frog in my throat. That was a drink of water, not beer. I'm saving myself for later today. Anyway, go there to Amazon and You can download some books easily, but also if you want a print edition, just go to tinyurl.com/blazebook1 or tinyurl.com/blazebook2 and get a print edition of one of my fine books that have very, very generous, fair and honest reviews on them. So thank you. And also don't forget, leave a review on this podcast. Go to Apple Podcast, or, Spotify, wherever you go. But anyway, leave us a fair and honest review. We'd appreciate it very much. Yeah, and tell a friend.
Well, you can leave a review on our website, and it will actually send it to Apple. So,
even better. See, that's why he's the professor.
Well, and we've been talking to a few writers lately. Bobby, I got a guy I need to send you a sample of his ideas.
And I've got a guy I've got to do the same for you. Yeah. So that's two people.
Yep, exactly. So, Casey, thank you for being on. We do appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, for sure, Casey. Thank you.
Thank you all for having me.
Yeah,
did you have every single week?
Did you have anything you wanted to plug before we wrap?
I'm across all social media at Casey King. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm across those three. I've been trying to upload more to TikTok, just some promos and whatnot while I'm out, trying to stay relevant. And I'm active on Twitter and Instagram, so go follow me on those.
Excellent. Casey King. Has the KY brand ever approached you about a sponsorship deal?
Not yet. I'm hoping so.
That's what I'd be pushing for if I were you.
I use their products, so why not get sponsored?
All right, Bobby, anything before we wrap up?
Oh man, just thank you, wrestling fans, for tuning in. Appreciate y'all very much. Casey, thank you for being on the show. Was glad to have you on, my friend.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
Jeremy, thank you for promoting, editing, and producing. And I'll get you a blog out soon, or a blurb out soon. And just thanks, man. That's it.
All right. Well, then, in that case, for the irreplaceable Tex Johnson, our guest Casey King, myself, Professor Jeremy Vilmur, and Arn Anderson's favorite enhancement talent, Double B, Bobby Blaze. God damn, that's a long sign off. Bye-bye, everybody.